Medicare fraud and abuse costs American taxpayers an estimated $60 billion every single year. And in 2025 alone, Medicare scam calls targeting seniors surged by 40%, with some older Americans receiving up to 50 fraudulent calls in a single day. The entry point for virtually all of it is one phone call, one caller who sounds official. One question about your Medicare card. If you are a Medicare beneficiary, or if you love one, what you are about to hear is not a warning about something that might happen. According to the FBI, the FTC, and the Department of Justice, it is already happening in every state, in every area code, right now, and your Medicare number is the target. Ronald Barker was 71 years old and had spent 3 decades as a licensed electrician in Knoxville, Tennessee. He and his wife of 44 years lived modestly, Social Security, a small pension, and the Medicare coverage he had paid into his entire working life. Ronald had been recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and was actively managing prescriptions through Medicare Part D. He was careful with money, skeptical of strangers, and proud of never having been taken advantage of in his life. He answered the phone that October morning because the caller ID showed a number he recognized. The voice on the other end was professional, calm, and completely convincing. It said it was calling from Medicare. Ronald never lost money in the traditional sense. He never wired $1. He never bought a gift card. What he lost was something far harder to recover. When his Medicare summary notice arrived 3 months later, it listed over $11,200 in charges for a motorized wheelchair, a continuous glucose monitor kit, and 2 months of home health aid services, none of which he had ever received, ordered, or even discussed with his doctor. His benefits had been partially exhausted. His medical records now contained a false diagnosis used to justify the equipment, and his Medicare number, the key to his entire healthcare identity, was, in the words of the senior Medicare patrol, considered permanently compromised. What happened to Ronald is called the Medicare card impersonation scam. It is one of the most medically dangerous, financially invisible, and ruthlessly targeted fraud schemes in America today. Unlike a stolen credit card, the damage does not show up immediately. It runs silently for weeks or months while criminals bill the federal government in your name. It is not just about money. It is about your health records, your benefits, and your identity as a patient. And Ronald's story is not rare. It is playing out in tens of thousands of households across this country right now. Before Ronald ever answered that call, the criminals already knew his name, his approximate age, and enough about his Medicare enrollment to sound credible. Scammers now routinely purchase personal data from dark web brokers, data harvested from prior breaches, public records, and even pharmacy loyalty programs, so that when they call, they can reference real details that disarm a victim's initial suspicion immediately. The caller told Ronald that Medicare was updating its beneficiary identification system in preparation for 2026, and that all cardholders needed to verify their current Medicare beneficiary identifier number to ensure uninterrupted coverage. The caller's tone was unhurried and bureaucratic, exactly what a government representative sounds like. Ronald was told that if he did not verify within the enrollment window, there could be a gap in his Part D prescription coverage. For a man managing a new diabetes diagnosis and daily medications, that threat landed with full force. He read his Medicare number aloud. The caller confirmed it back to him, thanked him, and told him a new card would arrive within 10 to 14 business days. The call lasted less than 4 minutes. Ronald hung up, feeling relieved that he had handled it properly. Within days, that 11-character alphanumeric code had been sold to a criminal network that immediately began submitting fraudulent durable medical equipment claims to CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The billing was structured carefully, with each claim falling just below the threshold that typically triggers automatic fraud review. By the time Ronald's summary notice arrived, the operation had already moved on to its next batch of compromised numbers. In the DOJ's June 2025 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown, the largest in U.S. history, prosecutors charged 324 defendants with submitting over $6 billion in fraudulent Medicare claims for urinary catheters and durable medical equipment, all made possible by the stolen Medicare numbers of real beneficiaries. Here is what nobody in the healthcare industry or the telecommunications sector wants to say plainly. The infrastructure that makes this crime not only possible, but easy, has been in place for years, and it is not being dismantled nearly fast enough to protect you. Your Medicare number cannot be frozen or locked the way a credit card can. If your Visa number is stolen, your bank cancels it in 24 hours. But a compromised Medicare beneficiary identifier, that unique alphanumeric code on your card, can only be replaced by CMS after you go through a documented fraud reporting process that takes weeks. During every one of those weeks, fraudulent billing in your name continues uninterrupted. Meanwhile, caller ID spoofing of government numbers remains largely unaddressed at the consumer level. The FCC's stir/shaken call authentication framework does not adequately block calls that spoof the exact number seniors are told to trust, including 1-800-Medicare itself. A criminal can make their call appear to come from the official Medicare helpline, and your phone has no reliable mechanism to warn you. And Medicare's own billing system processes claims reactively, not in real time. Fraudulent equipment claims are deliberately structured to fly beneath automated detection thresholds, a strategy so effective that the GAO has estimated combined improper Medicare and Medicaid payments in excess of $100 billion in a single year. The system was not built to protect you from the outside. You have to protect yourself. You need to understand exactly who is being targeted and why. Every single one of the 65.7 million Medicare beneficiaries in the United States is a potential target by virtue of having a Medicare number, a document that, in criminal networks, is considered more valuable than a Social Security card because it directly unlocks a billing pipeline worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Annually, government impersonation scams, the category Medicare fraud belongs to, generated $375 million in reported losses among adults 60 and older in 2024 alone, with losses jumping 47% year over year, according to the FCC's December 2025 report. And that figure captures only what was reported. The Senior Medicare Patrol estimates the true losses are vastly higher. Criminals target Medicare beneficiaries specifically because the threat of losing health coverage is one of the most potent fear triggers that exists for someone managing chronic illness. They are not targeting your bank account. They are targeting your trust, your fear, and a card you carry in your wallet that most people treat as routine paperwork. It is not routine. It is one of the most valuable pieces of identification you own.
Step 1. Treat your Medicare number exactly like your bank PIN, and never read it to anyone who calls you. Medicare will not call you unless you specifically initiated that contact first. This is Medicare's own stated policy, confirmed by CMS, the FTC, and the FCC. If you receive an unsolicited call from someone claiming to represent Medicare, a Medicare plan, or any health agency asking you to verify, update, confirm, or activate your Medicare number, hang up immediately. There is no scenario in which a legitimate government representative needs you to read that number to them. They already have it.
Step 2. Review your Medicare summary notice every single quarter without exception. Log into your personal Medicare account at mymedicare.gov. It is free and takes 5 minutes to set up. Once inside, review your claims history and look for any services, equipment, prescriptions, or procedures you do not recognize. If you prefer paper, call 1-800-Medicare 1-800-633-4227 and request your most recent explanation of benefits by mail. Catching a fraudulent claim in the first billing cycle can mean the difference between a recoverable situation and a permanently contaminated medical record.
Step 3. Contact your local Senior Medicare Patrol program immediately. It is completely free. The Senior Medicare Patrol is a federally funded network of trained advocates in every state who will review your Medicare claims with you, help you identify fraud, and walk you through the reporting process at no cost whatsoever. Find your local SMP at smpresource.org or call their national helpline at 1-877-808-2468. This resource exists specifically for moments like this, and it is one of the most underused protective tools available to every Medicare beneficiary in America.
Step 4. Place a free credit freeze at all 3 major bureaus today. A stolen Medicare number is almost always paired with a stolen Social Security number, and that combination is used to open fraudulent credit accounts, file false tax returns, and create synthetic identities in your name. Visit equifax.com/freeze, experian.com/freeze, and transunion.com/freeze to place a free security freeze on your credit file at each bureau. This does not affect your existing accounts or credit score. It simply prevents anyone from opening new accounts using your information. Do this now before you need it. Step 5. Never carry your Medicare card in your wallet. Your Medicare card is not the same as a health insurance card you need at every appointment. Leave it at home in a secure location and bring it only to medical visits. If your wallet is lost or stolen, your Medicare number goes with it, and recovery is slow and complicated. If your card is ever lost or stolen, call 1-800-Medicare immediately to report it and begin the replacement process. Step 6. Register with the AARP FraudWatch Network for free real-time scam alerts. Enroll at aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork or call 1-877-908-3360. You will receive alerts specific to your zip code when new Medicare scam variations are circulating in your area, and you will have access to trained fraud counselors who can answer questions and help you respond if you have already been contacted. Share this resource with every Medicare beneficiary you know. If you gave your Medicare number to an unsolicited caller, act immediately, not tomorrow. Your first call goes to 1-800-Medicare, 1-800-633-4227. Tell the representative exactly these words: I believe I gave my Medicare number to a fraudulent caller, and I need to flag my account for potential fraud and begin the process of reviewing recent claims. Ask them specifically whether a new Medicare beneficiary identifier can be issued and what documentation you will need to provide. Your second call goes to the H8's Office of Inspector General Fraud Hotline at 1-800-H8-TIPS. That is 1-800-447-8477. This is the federal law enforcement channel for Medicare fraud. File a report and get a case reference number. Keep it. If you also provided your Social Security number or bank account information, call your bank's fraud department immediately and use the words, I am a victim of identity theft and I need a freeze placed on outgoing transactions. Then call the Social Security Administration's fraud hotline at 1-800-269 0271. File a formal complaint at reportfraud.ftc.gov. This generates a personalized identity theft recovery plan and creates an official record that supports any future legal or financial remediation. Gather and keep every document related to the incident, the date and time of the call, the number that appeared on your caller ID, and any paperwork or summary notices that show fraudulent charges. If government agencies are slow to respond, contact your local television station's Consumer Investigative Unit. Public reporting has accelerated CMS responses in documented Medicare fraud cases on multiple occasions. In 2026, this scam has become faster, more personal, and more dangerous than at any prior point in its history. Scammers now arm themselves with dark web data, your prescriptions, your diagnosis codes, your pharmacy history, before they ever dial your number. The calls are no longer generic. They are tailored. And Medicare scam call volumes surged 40% in 2025, with some seniors receiving up to 50 calls in a single day during open enrollment season. Here's what you must remember. Medicare will never call you first. Your Medicare number is the master key to your health identity. Protect it like a pin. A compromised Medicare number can contaminate your medical records and exhaust your benefits without you ever knowing. And free help exists right now at smpresource.org and 1-800-MEDICARE. If this information could protect even one person in your family from the silent, invisible damage of Medicare identity theft, share it. Not because a channel needs views, because your parents, your grandparents, and your neighbors are receiving these calls today, and the only thing standing between them and a compromised health identity is knowing exactly what you now know. Share it. It may be the most important thing you do for someone you love this year.